G'day there guys, how bold is bold? For instance, I eat cereal with no milk and cream with no bagel. So on that note, welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. I'm your host Markee. I hope you have a good day, night sleep. Whatever you're doing, tell me about it down in the comments and enjoy the show. Posted by user SweetBabyZ2020. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not forgiving my husband, 26 male, for a mistake and not trusting him with our child? I, 24 female, gave birth to my daughter 6 months ago, and it should have been the happiest moment in my life. When my daughter was born, her skin was very dark, and looked like she could have 2 biological parents who were of African descent. My husband Jim, 26 male, fake name, was furious and accused me of cheating and left right then and there. He told everyone on both sides of the family what happened, made a post on social media, and wanted a divorce. His family, and a lot of our friends, all called to say how upset they were at me and called me really nasty names. My mother was by my side the entire time, and I kept professing my innocence. Jim refused to pick me up from the hospital. He threw my stuff out on the lawn and changed the locks, so I had to stay with my parents. When my sister called to ask for the baby stuff, Jim texted me pictures of the bare nursery room and said that he got rid of everything. He even destroyed my art studio. I like to paint, and the art I made, he told me my work would be too awful to sell. I was distraught and tried to focus on my baby. Weeks went by, and Jim refused to speak to me directly and has never once asked about our child. Eventually, he agreed to do a paternity, and he was 100% the father. No one could believe the results, and it was done again. Jim is the dad. Around that same time, one of Jim's cousins did the ancestry thing, and there was around 30% of African ancestry in the family. This, combined with the test, Jim's paternal great-grandmother admitted to having an affair around the time Jim's grandfather was born, and because he could pass, she just assumed her husband was the father. Since then, Jim has been reaching out and everyone has come to apologize. And while it did feel good to feel vindicated, the damage has been done. I can't unhear or unsee all of the horrible things that were said and done. Not just to me, but to my child as well. Jim made some very racist remarks, things that I'd never thought he'd say, and he did it so easily. Regardless of what our daughter looks like, I don't want her to be around that. What else will Jim and his family say or do the next time that they get mad? How are they going to treat our daughter when she does something that upsets them? Jim has been begging for forgiveness. I said I needed time, and he asked to see the baby, and I let him, but I'm too afraid to physically hand her over to him. He's repairing the nursery and keeps asking me what I would like, and I cry every time, saying we already had what I liked, and some of the items that we had can't be replaced. He asked me if I still loved him, and I admitted that he showed me his worst self, and I don't know if I could live with that image. I didn't mean to be hurtful, but it's how I feel. My sister suggested couples therapy, but I don't feel like I should have to work to fix something that I didn't break. I've never cheated, and have been 100% innocent in all of this the whole time. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to give Jim a second chance? Wow. Wow. He did some horrible things there, the racist remarks, even more so terrible and completely despicable. I honestly can't blame you if you don't want to go to couples therapy. I probably wouldn't want to go and fix that. God, I can just live with someone who's so cool to just go off the rails and attack you like that, without any proof, without any evidence, without having a paternity test. Great, good stuff that one, let's just, fix things with him. I want to go fix things with that guy. Really, in my world, there isn't anything you can do to repair that. Or it would take a lot of time for me to be ready to do that myself. So, from my opinion, I'm going to say not the a-hole for not wanting to give Jim a second chance. That's truly messed up. And his entire family. What the hell? Update 1. I stepped away for a few hours and couldn't believe what I came back to. I am truly amazed by all the wonderful comments of support as well as the private messages. I also understand why some people may think this is fake, and all I can say to that is, you are free to believe what you want in this. I also see some questions, and I think I should clarify a few things, just in case your judgment may change. 1. All of this initially happened at the near February, and I was already settled at my parents' house before the pandemic hit. 2. One of the reasons Jim wouldn't pick me up from the hospital was because I wouldn't admit to cheating or giving him any details, because there weren't any, which made him angrier. 3. Based on the pictures Jim sent me, he didn't take a sledgehammer to the crib or anything. He just took stuff down to either return it for the money or gave it away. While deeply hurtful, I wouldn't call it violent, but maybe it is. 4. Online he announced that I pushed out a dark-skinned baby, and that he was going to divorce me. His family started with the racial comments, and eventually he started doing it too, but only through my family. He refused to speak to me directly. 5. Once the truth came out, all of he and his family's posts were taken down, but I and a few friends still have the screenshots. Jim never wrote down his racial remarks. 6. While he didn't say any of the racist words, he did make comments about our daughter being a welfare princess, and how I was just going to be another baby mama. 7. Just to clarify, Jim is quote-unquote white, and I'm at least half white. One of my parents is adopted, and with everything that's happened, they decided to do the ancestry thing too, and we should be getting the results any day now. Not the a-hole. That entire section about the racist remarks? How are they going to treat our daughter when she does something that upsets them? This. When people show you their true colors, believe them. Regardless of who was right or wrong, he handled this situation horribly. If he really loved you, or was a good person, he would have just asked for a paternity test from the beginning. Instead, he destroyed your things, etc. This makes it very clear how he and his family will react to situations. I would stay away and not forgive him. Good luck. Tell him he can see the kid when she gets back everything he destroyed in its original condition. Oh, that's not possible? Then that's too bad. He gets to sleep in the bed he made. Go to court and show the attorney every text he sent and get full custody. Jim may be the sperm donor, but he is not a father. Ooh, and it's metaphorical. It's the broken plate analogy in real life. This, you may choose to take him back and be a family, and that's an okay choice, if that's what you want. But it will never be the same. You will never see him through the same eyes. I understand that he was hurt by the idea that you cheated on him, but he handled it terribly, and that's who he really is. You always see the truth when things get hard, and life gets hard. It's okay to say that you don't want to go through the hard times with that person, not the a-hole. Posted by user House Maybe Haunt, titled, Am I the a-hole for being mad that my husband let us buy a possibly haunted house? We're in our early 30s with kids. We decided to sell our home and upgrade to a bigger one. We were looking for houses for a couple of months and finding it frustrating, got outbid on one that we really liked. Then my husband told me his co-worker was selling his house and thought we might be interested. Me and my husband went over for dinner, had a good time, and got a good look at the house. It met everything we were looking for. We decided to go forward and enter negotiations about buying the house and moved in July. Living in the house has been nice so far. However, I recently ran into the co-worker's wife at the supermarket and we were chatting about the house. I mentioned how I'm starting to decorate for the fall, and she said the spooky decorations will make the ghosts feel at home, and laughed. I was very confused, and asked her what she meant, and she seemed equally confused. She said she and the kids had weird experiences. Bad nightmares, doors slamming, other weird noises, creepy auras in their house, and that they thought that it was haunted. She assumed my husband had mentioned that to me, and that we were on the same page, that we didn't care. Well, we were not on the same page. My husband never told me. For background, my husband is a very skeptical and rational man. I confronted him, and he said that he didn't tell me because 1, his co-worker said he'd never experienced anything, so it was just the wife and the kids. 2, he knew I would get irrational and be scared even though the house is perfect for us. And 3, ghosts are not real anyway. He insisted that he did not withhold information about the house itself. It was just irrelevant information about the co-worker's family and their beliefs. I am infuriated that he let us buy this house without telling me. I now feel scared in my own home. I don't feel safe here at night anymore, and every noise puts me on edge. I have been looking for a sale on cameras so we can record inside the house and see if we can identify if any spirits are visiting. I also told our children about it so they can be safe and aware. But my husband is mad at me because they're scared now too. I'm hoping that the previous family was either hallucinating, but both the wife and kids? Or have the spirits traveled with them to their new house? I'm not sure what I will do if they are actually here. My husband is not being very considerate of my fears and just keeps insisting the ghosts are not real. He says I have no right to be mad and throw our family into turmoil over this. I know what he believes, but it's not what I believe, and he put us into this situation. Am I the a-hole? I don't get how they're not rereading over this and seeing that they've spooked themselves into this belief. They didn't have any reason to believe that ghosts or spirits were in the house before this, and they realized that OP was just trying to defend them from this irrational line of thought. I'm biased because I myself don't believe that ghosts exist. I've never had any evidence of it, therefore I can't, say one way or another. I think there was a fault of communication there with the husband. He bought the house with her and got them to go ahead to the point where they can't back out now, really? So I guess you could say maybe he's a bit of an a-hole for doing that, but that seems perfectly rational. What, we're not going to buy a house that's perfect for us just because you think there's ghosts in there? No. You're overreacting, OP. Your fears are irrational. It's having a negative effect on your family from the whole. You're the one pursuing all of this. You're the one causing all of this. You're the a-hole. You told your children. Why? So that they can be scared and paranoid as well? You haven't experienced anything and wouldn't have known the difference had the former owner not said something. Your husband did nothing wrong, but needlessly traumatizing your children is very wrong. Yeah, this detail makes her the a-hole without a doubt. Why would you intentionally cause your kids to panic? What the hell is wrong with people? Based on the OP's reply to me, I think she thrives on the drama and her kids believing her. She wants them to be scared because it was important information to tell them. What? But I kinda like this story, so what the hell? You're the a-hole. Even if you prescribe to the belief of spirits, and I'm not knocking you for that, there was no reason to purposely frighten the children, so you're the a-hole just for that. Also, where are you buying these special cameras that will catch spirits? Because if those existed, then there would be a whole lot of things the world could settle on. Posted by user, an all-star, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that I absolutely do not support her only wanting to be a stay-at-home mum? I don't have the idea of parents who stay home with their kids. It's not like that. I get that childcare is expensive and that oftentimes it just makes sense. What I have a problem with is my teenage daughter literally planning her life to only become a stay-at-home mum. As in, no college, no jobs, no certifications, nothing at all to support herself until that time might come. I told her that it doesn't have to be college, that not everyone needs college, but that she needs to do something to start making money to put away so that if anything goes wrong with her plan, she has a way to support herself and the potential kids. Her feedback was that her backup plan was me and my husband. She would move in with us and go from there. We would help them survive. I told her then, what happens if we die or we're incapacitated? She said, I don't know, Mum. This is ridiculous. None of this is gonna happen. I told her bluntly that I don't want her becoming Nancy Botwin 2.0, and that if something happens, she needs to have a backup plan and something behind her other than relying on other people. I emphasized that again, it does not need to be college. She can start working retail to learn customer service skills that she can carry on to doing call center work from home if need be. She can start working as a receptionist somewhere. She can do any number of things. But she says no, she's going to plan to be a stay-at-home mom. With that all in mind, I asked her when she graduates high school, what is she going to do? She said, just try to find a husband, maybe marry someone in the military. I asked her again, in between that time, how is she going to pay her bills, her rent? She said that she assumed that she would be living at home. I told her no, and that she would be moving out. She could live at home if she gets a job or tries to get some kind of community college degree or certification, but that if she insists on being a deadbeat loser and waiting for a man to come and rescue her, she's on her own. This didn't go over well, and I'm now being held up as totally unreasonable, mean, a huge bear, etc. I don't think I'm wrong at all. I want to set her up for a lifetime of success and happiness. If this wonderful man who comes and whisks her away, knocks her up, etc., gets injured or dies, I don't want to have her coming knocking at our door because she can't afford to take care of herself. Am I the a-hole? You're really just looking out for her best interests, and she refuses to accept responsibility for her own life and her own finances and her own future? In this instance, I think it's fair to say that you have to go and figure this out because you're not going to figure it out living at home. And I know a lot of people will disagree, but how else are we going to get her to learn this lesson? I think it's reasonable what you're doing, OP. I think she really needs to wake out of this stay-at-home mum dream and realize that the world is not that easy and it's not just going to fall into her pocket like that. Yes, it works out for some, but it doesn't work out for everyone. You're trying to protect her, she's not particularly looking out for her own best interests. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Her expectations for life are unrealistic. You are doing your part as a parent and showing her that. Her entitlement is astounding. Correct. And aside from military, I can't imagine most 18-year-old men are going to be able to or willing to support her. Maybe sell her on the idea of college to get her MRS. Alternately to the MRS, she might be willing to get the certifications for working at a daycare. If she really only wants to be a stay-at-home mum, she could practice taking care of children, have an income, and a fallback if her life plan doesn't work out, all while doing what she loves. If that doesn't work out, maybe she will realize that she wants something else for herself. And if it does work out, she's got some money and experience. Not the a-hole. Oh, I love this. I totally agree. Have her train for free with all the places she will need to have skills in for being a mother. Volunteer at schools for each age group with the kids that need help. The kids that are disabled and the high-energy kids after she needs to volunteer at a childcare center. Then she needs to tutor older kids, take some normal cooking classes, Volunteer at all sorts of services like shelters. Work with cleaning staff, taxi people around, do groceries with seniors, and so forth. If she can do all this happily and with no pay because she will need to learn money management from her parents as the money coming in is not what she would earn as a stay-at-home mum, she needs to sit with them when they pay bills, learn to budget one income, so on and so forth. Then I would say that she's ready for her life choice. But during that, at least she's learning some useful skills. Posted by user AmiTheA0214. Titled, Would I be the a-hole if I visit my son again after being a terrible mother to him? Throw away because I don't want this associated with my main account. 5 years ago, my ex-husband and I divorced after I admitted that I cheated on him. My husband ended up winning full custody of my child, and he told me that he never wants to see me near him or our son ever again. My marriage was never a happy one, and the only reason I married him was because I was desperate to get rid of my parents, as they were extremely toxic. During my marriage, I must admit that I was not the best mother to my son. When he turned 8, I started giving him as little attention as possible. My husband would give him much more attention despite him having a full-time job and I not. I also used to swear and scream at my son when I was angry, despite him doing nothing wrong. I was severely mentally unstable at that time. I'm still visiting my therapist and taking the prescribed pills, and I regret all my actions. Both my ex-husband and I are in a happy marriage now. A couple of months ago, my mother passed away and it hit me really hard. It wasn't because I missed her, because I never had a good relationship with her, but it was because it reminded me of my son and how he also wouldn't care when I will pass away. I missed my son so much, and I regret everything that I did. I want to start over again with him. I contacted my husband, and he was really furious. We had a large argument, and he ended up hanging up on me. I still want to visit my son either with or without his permission. Would I be the a-hole if I visit him? Well, if we take into account all of the terrible things that you have done previous to this, and how you've really burnt the bridge with your husband and your son, and how you abused your son in the past, and how you didn't have a good relationship with really anyone, I don't know, I think it might take some really hard, deep, philosophical looking into yourself to see that maybe you would be an a-hole if you tried at this point, because you didn't really try or care at any other time in your life, and you admit to being extremely toxic. I think your attempt now is fake, and I think he sees through that, and I think you would just give up on your son again if you did see him. I can't really believe you, OP, so I'm gonna say that you're the a-hole. You're the a-hole for just showing up uninvited to visit the child that you emotionally abused without the consent of his father. That would be trespassing, and your ex-husband should file a police report if you do that. You're the a-hole. It's not about your husband much, but what would be best for your son? You are not thinking of him at all, which makes you an a-hole still. Seems like you treated him horrible for so many years. Your husband is right. You should not be anywhere near that child. I hope your son is happy, probably way happier without you. Don't ruin his life any more than you already did. The thing is, you want to go from -100 to +100. The event that triggered you to make contact is that you want your son to care if you die, which honestly is quite selfish. If you truly regret what you did, and you truly want to build a relationship, you will have to prove yourself over and over and over again. You will have to start small and prove to your ex-husband first that you are serious. Then, step by step and very, very slowly, you can build contact and trust with your son. But this process will take a couple of years, and in this period of time, you will be judged for every little step you make. Yes, generally speaking, a child is better off with a mother. But as far as I understood, his stepmom is filling the mother figure for him. After everything you did, I don't believe that you will ever get the mother role back in the way you wish. You may be acknowledged as the biological mother, and may get a role like an aunt or something, if you put a ton of effort into it, but you will never be his mummy. And you would definitely be the a-hole if you showed up at your son's home. This is his and his real family's safe space, and you have no right to invade it. You should rather organize an activity at a neutral place and invite your ex-husband and his spouse to talk about further long-term plans. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enabled me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.